This is the Liz Callaway Show. She's a one-of-a-kind, and she's only found here. The new conservative alternative. WTKN Talk 94.5.
Okay, let's do it.
Our morning show knows exactly what it stands for. The Liz Callaway Show, the right local morning show. Right now.
Welcome to your Monday morning. It's October 21st, 7:07 in the morning, and we're a little starstruck, Nick Summers, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I am. I'm excited about this.
We were like doing selfies and stuff with Rob Cheng. You know, Rob, I just wanted to welcome you to the studio, first of all, at Talk 94.5, and it's really an honor to finally meet you.
Thank you, Liz. It's nice to be here.
We are just I was kind of shocked to find out because we have a lot of mutual friends that we're just in talking right now. We just realized. But I got a phone call from Van Hip, who has been on the show before. He's a terrorism expert. He's been ringing the alarm bells about the electronic pulse, or the electronic grid and all that. And I survived. I say survived in tongue in cheek, but the blackout we had after 9/11 up in the Northeast, and we still don't know why that happened. So things like that, talking about the grid and cyber threats and cyber warrior, and a lot of experts are saying that is the forefront of how we need to protect ourselves. We need to be really considering that, because that is like the next level of attacks on America.
I agree with that.
So what exactly, we know that you're with PC-Matic, and tell us a little bit about your story. And I've read a lot about you. There's a lot on the internet about you. I don't know what's true and what's not. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you're a South Carolina resident.
Well, I've been coming to Myrtle Beach since I got a driver's license. My parents bought a timeshare, and so
that's how we all come here.
Yes.
I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up here.
That's so funny.
And so we would come here every year for summer, and then sometimes in the wintertime. And then I was a senior vice president at Gateway Computers, doing well, and I bought a vacation home in Prestwick. And after I left Gateway, I moved into that home.
So you're neighbors with Gene Ho.
I am neighbors with Gene Ho.
That's another connection we have.
Yes.
So Van Hip, Gene Ho, and your wife, Solange, knows Javier, who teaches yoga, and she teaches yoga. So it's like
small world.
Yeah, of course. And that's the beauty of Myrtle Beach. Now, recently I was watching Fox News, and I saw one of your commercials come up. I saw Gavin in it, and I know Gavin from the Trump campaign because I used to see him all the time.
So you know Gavin?
Yeah,
golly,
I do.
We do know a lot of people.
Yeah, and I saw. I was like, oh, Gavin's working. Wait, PC-Matic? Wait a minute. And then I saw Myrtle Beach International Airport sign, and you like walking by or somebody was walking by with a little luggage.
That was me.
That was you. And I was like, what does that have to do with Myrtle Beach? And then it came full circle once Van called me. So tell us about what your company is about and how you're trying to put Myrtle Beach kind of like in the forefront of those national commercials.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started the company in 1999, so it's 20 years now as a company. For the first 10 years, we were really focused on PC performance, but then we moved and we wrote our own antivirus in 2011. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was very unique in two ways. Number one is the only antivirus that's written in the United States, and the other one is based on a whitelist rather than a blacklist. And a whitelist is basically, we're keeping track of all the good applications. If it's not on the whitelist, we stop it from executing. Everyone else is using a blacklist, all the foreign-made antivirus, and if it's not on that list, they assume it to be good. And that's the security hole that we have right now.
So to me, what that means to me is that if you're only looking at the blacklist, bad things have to happen before you put it on the blacklist. Right. So you're always shutting the barn doors after the horses run out. So you're always, so I understand that concept. So you focus on the whitelist. Now let's go back to the American made part. Why is that important?
I think it's important because, I say this in TV commercials, we're at war. And because we're made in America, we can respond quicker to the attacks in the country. And so that's how we stay ahead, I think, of the enemy, is by being right here in the country. We can talk to the people that are being infected. We can see why, and then we can write software to stop that from happening to other customers.
Can you explain what ransomware is? Because we recently had an attack at Horry County Schools a few years ago with ransomware, and there was Bitcoin that had to be paid. And a lot of us were like, ransomware? Bitcoin? Nobody knows what that is, or Well, you do, and your team does. But I mean, can you explain that to us more?
First, I want to say that the first ransomware attack was in September 2013. So not that long ago, 6 years, and it was a home computer, and the ransom was $200. And since that time, it's escalated because people are paying the ransom. So the way it works is that a piece of software enters your computer. It gets by the antivirus for whatever reason, and then it enters your computer. Immediately, it starts encrypting the files. You know nothing that's going on, and it starts encrypting the files on the computer. And then once it's done doing that, the computer is essentially locked, and it gives you a message saying that if you want your files back, that you had to pay in a cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin.
And normally, that's anonymous, like you say. Cryptocurrency it's an anonymous way, and we don't understand that. So how is it possible that you pay somebody and nobody knows who that person is or where that money's going? How is that possible?
That's really the idea behind cryptocurrencies, is for it to be anonymous. The one thing I haven't said is that since September 2013 and this new way of doing it, not one person has been caught, not one person has been punished during this entire time.
That's really disturbing, and it's because it's all anonymous.
It's all anonymous.
Why is that allowed, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think I was just in D.C. and they asked me the same question. I think it's very easy to make cryptocurrencies, and so I mean, this is the new way that they're. I mean, it's being used for a lot of criminal activities. This being one.
Yeah. Okay. So you. This was a question that Nick and I were talking about. Once the ransom is paid, I wouldn't even know how to pay in cryptocurrency. Do they make it easy for you to do it, the people holding it hostage?
Yes, they do. I mean, I was listening to your show in the parking lot, and that was one of the questions. They have customer service. Once you pay the ransom, they're going to try to make it as easy as possible for you to get back your files. That's the business they're in. And so they have customer service.
But how is that legal?
It's not legal.
But I mean, they're not getting
their
caught.
reputation is dependent on it. If all of a sudden you think if I pay them, I'm not going to get my files back, then they go out of business. So they were trying really hard that once you pay them, you get your files back.
So the goal is, and it's like we always say, we don't negotiate with terrorists. These are cyber terrorists.
They are. The FBI says not to pay the ransoms.
Right.
For the simple reason that the more we pay the ransoms, the worse this problem's getting.
Yes.
And this year has been a really, really bad year.
What kind of money are we talking about?
Actually, Horry County Schools, they paid the maximum ransom in January 2016. That was $8,500. Now the minimum is $100,000, and it goes into the millions. And actually, what you guys
because they're attacking hospitals and governments and.
Yes, but the place where it's the most vulnerable is what you said in the show earlier: K through 12, cities and counties and small businesses. These are the most vulnerable areas of our society, and they're getting hit the most. Why
are we most vulnerable?
Because they don't have less money and less people to spend on cybersecurity.
So they're just wide open. Now, there was I was talking to my our general manager here, John Hennis, and I told him you were coming in. Like last week, I was talking to him. He's like, "That's exactly what we need because there's a tremendous fear of that happening to radio stations and television stations."
I haven't heard of a radio station get hit, but actually, I'm happy to come in here and look and see what you guys are doing.
He really wants
to
talk to
your
you.
IT guy. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, because it's really could you imagine us getting hacked?
We'd be off the air.
Yeah,
because everything is now on our hard drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week, Jasper County, so a county in South Carolina, got hit. It's the southernmost county right by Savannah and Hilton Head right there. And they got hit, and they were down for a couple of weeks.
The whole county?
Well, 911, the fire department.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, actually, which are the most important ones because that you don't want to be down for 1 second, much less, a couple days.
So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't want to pay as recommended by the FBI. Are there IT guys, such as yourself, that can get in and get around that and unlock your computer, or are you pretty much screwed?
Well, the best thing, so the FBI does recommend that, and I recommend that too. If you can avoid paying the ransom, don't pay the ransom. If you can do without, then do without, and then try to restore some other way. I mean, so that is the recommendation. There are many examples. City of Baltimore, City of Atlanta, they did not pay the ransom. I mean, in both cases, and this is the math behind it, is around $50,000, $60,000 worth of ransom. Both cities are around $20 million. And
wow.
Atlanta was down for 6 months, and I think Baltimore is still down.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay, so are you busier more than ever?
I travel a lot, yeah.
Okay, because I'm wondering, do you feel like people are in denial that this is an actual problem?
I don't know what the overall awareness is of this issue. I think that inside of IT, a lot of people know it, but I think outside there it's not getting the same attention as other issues facing the country.
What about this whole fear about a cyber attack on our grid, quote unquote, which is something that Van Hip and I spoke at length?
I worry about that. I mean, again, I think that there's like this cyber divide. As soon as you get to the state government, the federal government, and large enterprises, they have numerous layers, security, and all that, and so it's a lot harder to get in. It's not impossible. For example, Atlanta and Albany and all these, they should have had enough cybersecurity to stop these things, but they didn't. But the place where we're seeing right now, actually, for example, Louisiana was in a state of emergency. I think they still are because they had 3 K through 12s that went down in a week. Texas had 23 cities go down in a day.
Wow, 23?
Yes. 23 cities went down in a day, I think, in the month of September.
Okay, so I don't think that we are sounding alarms enough on this particular topic. And I know with your commercials you are. And you talk about it a lot, in articles and opinion pieces. But what can the personal person do? Should we be doing something? Because I know many times I used to run my own little business and I used to be online all the time. And I used to get that blaster worm virus. And I swore it was the PC company that was doing it to my computer because I'd always have to call them and pay $44 to get me out of it, and then they would restore my computer back. And I almost feel like it was a business. And it's like, okay, let's put the worm there and then we'll provide the solution. And I felt like it was an inside job. Is that ever true? Because who's doing this?
So we don't know who's doing it, right? Because they're anonymous. We can't follow the money. Prior to this in 2013, when this happened, we were able to follow the money, and we could follow the money to people in Eastern Europe and Russia. Okay, so we do know that before 2013, it was that. Now, you asked 2 questions that I want to answer. What can everybody do? So one of the things that we are doing right now is just saying, well, this is IT's problem. This is not my problem. Really, it's going to get to the point where it's everybody's problem. So there's 2 things I would recommend. Number one is passwords. Passwords are really important. One of the ways that they're getting in is because they know all our passwords. They know our passwords. They know our email addresses.
How?
Through all the breaches. Actually, the most recent one was Capital One, and there was Marriott, and there was Yahoo, and then there's Experian. I mean, I'm
right.
going on it. So they know our passwords.
The credit companies.
The credit companies.
Yeah.
Actually, South Carolina Department of Revenue got hacked.
That's right. That was just before I moved here.
2012. And then what they did is they gave us insurance through Experian.
And then that got hacked.
Twice.
Wow.
Okay, so, I mean, that's where they're getting all the passwords. So the thing that is number one, everyone should be changing their passwords. And it should not be a password you've used before. And the most important one, and I can't stress this enough, is you should not use your personal passwords at work. People have got to do that. We did a survey. Half the people are using their personal passwords at work, and that's the security hole.
Wow.
Okay,
so
that.
if our company gives us an email, we shouldn't use our personal password.
Do not do that. You make up a new one that you've never used before.
Okay, so how do we keep track of all these passwords?
Just do this one time. Just because the thing, you're trying to create a password that has not been compromised. So you have to assume that all your personal passwords have been compromised.
Okay.
So, but your business passwords have not. I mean, they're not going to go and try to find the passwords for this radio station. But what you're doing is you're using the same password there, and then they can get into this radio station.
Wow. So we're actually the gateway, the vulnerability
That's
point.
one of them, right. The other one has to do with antivirus. So 60 Minutes is trying to raise the, they've done 2 60 Minutes, one in May, another one in August on this issue. The one issue that they miss is that the role of antivirus. The reason why we're all paying for antivirus is to stop this. Once you click on it or it's in the network, the role of antivirus is to stop it from executing, to stop it from encrypting all those files. And the antivirus is not stopping it. There's a big difference between the best antivirus and the worst one. But people are just saying it's like shoes. They're all the same. They do the same thing. But
so
it's not true.
have the Norton virus protection. So how do I know how to pick them? I mean, they find me usually.
Yes. So I mean, it's not easy. I mean, to do. I mean, Norton does testing, so you can do tests, you can read articles, but to view it and there's some really bad ones out there. You know, and they don't want you to know they're really bad. But I do believe there's some really bad antivirus out there.
I don't mean to do a commercial for you, but I'm going to ask you a question. So does PCmatic sell a superior antivirus software that we can download that's better than Norton or McAfee or whatever those other companies? Is that what you do?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we do. I mean, it's based on a whitelist rather than a blacklist. All the other products are based on a blacklist. You saw the security hole there, and we've closed that hole, and we've closed numerous other ones to keep our customers protected.
Mornings happen. Don't worry, we're here when they do. Back to the Liz Callaway Show with Liz Callaway and Nick Summers on Talk 94.5.
So one of the things here, you know, Nick, you and I were talking about this new employment segment, Get a Haircut, Get a Real Job.
Yes.
Remember? Well, that's going to be coming up in November.
Yes.
So we're going to try it out with you, Rob. All right, because we like to feature, like, people may have seen PCmatic. They have heard about it. They kind of know they need to protect themselves or their business. They've seen the commercials. They had no idea you were running this tremendous company right here in the Myrtle Beach area. So how many people do you employ?
Right now, we have 80 people.
80 people. And
Yes.
are they all over the place? Do they work from home?
Everybody works from their home. We have more people in the Myrtle Beach area than any other city, and we have more people in South Carolina than any other state.
So do you hire for part-time, full-time? Are there benefits? Like what kind of jobs are they?
They're all full-time jobs. They're all full-time jobs. We have very good benefits. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Everyone is on a bonus plan, and all full-time employees take advantage of our stock option plan.
Wow. All
Nice.
right.
Wow.
Sounds good.
What's the starting? I'm just curious. Don't worry, Liz. I'm not leaving.
Hey, wait, no. You stay right there, young man. So tell us what some of the job openings you have. Now, the website is pcmatic.com, and I clicked on the careers, the open positions. What are you currently looking at right now?
Okay, there are three things I'm looking at right now. One is sales. Okay, I spent a lot of time in Columbia, and we only have one employee in Columbia right now. Okay, so that somebody in Columbia would help right now. I'm looking at software development. Normally here in Myrtle Beach, I can't find a lot of software developers. I do have two here, but that's really national. And the other one is I'm looking for marketing, people who can write and know marketing.
And do marketing. Okay, so
Because I just promoted another marketing person.
See, Liz, that's you and I.
we can do
Marketing.
that from home.
Oh, yeah.
Another second full time. Look at him. This is totally self-serving here. Okay, so now what about people who help? Like there must be some kind of customer service to help people install the systems or get them up, explain how it works.
Yes. So our biggest departments are malware research and customer support. And so right now we're not hiring there.
Okay.
I mean, we do get a lot of resumes there, but I do plan to start hiring there early next year.
Okay. So how can people get in touch with you? I know pcmatic.com is the website. Can they apply through the website?
Yes. I mean, actually, you look here and things just
it says apply now. There it
now.
is. Scroll down.
Apply now, right? So
Okay.
you go to pcmac.com, go to careers, and then you can apply for a job there.
All right. And this is, there's some traveling involved with some of these. Now, when it says traveling, does it mean just like in a car or does it mean like you
No,
go
in an
away
airplane.
Okay, so you're going places.
Yes.
For business. And people can also go to this website and actually buy your antivirus software.
Correct.
So would you go on, so when you buy the software, does it go right onto your computer? Like, should you buy it from the computer you want it on?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you do. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, because this is another thing that scares me. If I lost my computer, I couldn't care less. But if I lost my phone, all hell would break loose. You would hear, it would be the scream heard around the world, because everything is on my phone. Are there viruses attacking our smartphones? Because sometimes I go onto a site and I see attention shopper, and it's like blinking and flashing.
So
What's going on there?
So the answer to your question is yes. There are viruses for phones. Okay, they are a lot less than viruses for computers nowadays. The goal right now of ransomware, in particular, is to get into a computer and then to get on a network. So it's really, I mean, but like I said, the first one was going after a home and home users. They're still doing that, but their ultimate goal is to get to a server because that's where they make the most money.
Okay. And you were telling me something that was really disturbing because we were talking about those 23 cities in Texas that got hit in one day. It took down all their sites. How are they getting in? And we were talking about different ways that people, these crooks, get into businesses.
So that happened through remote maintenance. There was one company in Texas that was taking care of all of those 23 cities, and that one company got compromised. Once that company got compromised, they have access to those 23 cities, and then the bad guys got in there, and they infected the 23 cities.
That is amazing. So
It's scary.
it's almost like those cities could like sue that company for not doing the right thing with the virus. It almost seems because if you have a company that is leaving their back door unlocked for some cyber criminal to come in and attack their customers, it seems like they have the ultimate responsibility to protect everyone. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I have not read their contract. My feeling is probably there's some loophole in their contract that says everything bad happens, it's not their fault. I mean, that would be my guess what they did.
So we
haven't seen a lawsuit.
The thing is when you're doing something on the computer, and most people don't know how computers really work and how to fix things on there, and they call up a company and they'll say, oh, well, we'll just take over your computer and do it. And you get this team viewer, you accept.
Oh, you should be really careful about that for numerous reasons. Letting somebody else take care of your computer, a home user should be warning lights for a home user.
Never let the company take over.
Unless you really know who that person is and you trust that company.
How?
There are numerous scams out there right now that, particularly for elderly people, where they're trying to take over your computer and convince you to buy something.
Wow. Okay. If someone can take over your computer, what information are you letting them have by doing that? Because people don't understand everything that gets stuck in there.
Oh, there's a lot of information on your computer you don't want other people seeing. They really don't have time to that. So one, they could deploy ransomware. The other thing they're doing is try to get you to pay $400 or $500 for PC maintenance and other things like that. And it's normally coming out of India. There's a
Really?
Really?
You guys haven't heard about this?
Not the India connection.
I always hear like Ghana.
Oh
It's
no,
always
no.
an
This
issue.
it's all through India, and what they do is they try to convince. Sometimes they do it on the phone. They convince you they're Microsoft. They convince you your PC your PC Matic. They convince you
They try to spoof you guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
They try to spoof almost anybody in order to just get them. Let's say, well, that's on your computer, and then they try to get them for.
You know what? I'm going to tell you that happened in my house.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
And I walked into the room, and my son was on the phone with somebody, and I overhear the conversation. I'm like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. And I grab the phone and I start like ripping this person because I was so angry that, he got duped into this conversation. And I realized, I'm like, he's at the computer. I'm like, did you call them? Well, I got this message that, and I'm like, no, and then is it a scam or is it not a scam or?
It's a scam.
It's definitely a scam.
It's a scam.
That's.
So, again, I know you don't want to do the commercial for your product, and I do, because one of the most recent reviews, I want to share this with you because I think this is great. I'm trying to see where this is from. This is from PC World. It said, PC Matic is an unusual program that sees malware as one part of a larger whole focused on system optimization. It doesn't bother you with many updates, and it is top-rated by the firm that took a look at this. How about that?
I have not seen that one.
Yep.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's PCWorld.com.
And that's because he's focusing on the whitelist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of-
That's why
of
it's
the-
called unusual program. Yeah.
So that is you flipped it on its head, and so you're looking at the companies that you know are safe, as
Yes.
opposed to fixing things after they're broken and the damage is already done.
Correct.
I could sell your product.
You're doing really well.
Hey, Rob. For example, some of the other top antivirus. You had mentioned that you guys are right here in the United States, which I love, and obviously here in Myrtle Beach. Some of the other popular ones, like Norton. Where are those companies? Who makes those?
Well, Norton is made in India, and they do their research in the
Interesting.
Philippines.
See,
We're
that's
just talking about.
okay.
McAfee is the same way. All of our competitors are from out of the country.
Okay, and so what does that tell you? And you, Liz, said,
I'm telling
are they
you, it's an
inventing these
inside
things
job.
because then they can say, look, we have a fix for
It's
this.
an inside job.
And
So you know about this. Kaspersky is made in Russia.
Really?
Yes.
What's the name of that one?
Kaspersky.
With a K.
Yeah, and they also get some pretty good ratings too, but that's
But
made
listen,
where in
but-
Russia?
and they got kicked out of the. So this became big news, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, and they got
Yes.
kicked out of the federal government. They got kicked out of
Yes,
Best Buy.
I remember that.
I do remember,
Yeah.
yes.
So where it's made, it matters. I mean, I do think that some of the viruses and ransomware is coming from Russia and Eastern Europe, and here we have an antivirus coming from the same place.
Wow.
There's a question that we got on our text line, our First Choice Heating and our text line. It says, how about, he gets in the weeds on some of this stuff, but I'll sum it up quickly at the end. How effective is a VPN for safety?
A VPN is a really good thing for safety.
But
And-
where do
and
you
also,
get it, and how do you trust where you're getting it from? Isn't that always a question?
There's some ones that are getting very big. I mean, they're cost like $5 a month. I mean, they're expensive, but if you're worried about privacy, we use a VPN. Actually, that's a question to ask your IT people here. Are you using a VPN?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Virtual private
Private network.
Private network, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It hides, it masks your actual internet address, correct?
Right, and it's also an additional layer of security for other people who don't want into your network.
I have a question for you. One last question. Rob Cheng of PCmatic. Is Hillary Clinton your customer?
No.
Whoa!
Where did that come from? No.
I wish I had a camera right there, that look on your face, Rob. You looked at Liz like,
Is that true?
No.
She is not your customer? Well, listen, if she ever calls you, you call me.
Okay.
we got some questions for her.
Yeah.
I don't
questions
think
about
that
her
she's
and
going
her-
to be calling me.
Her.
You weren't that guy that was running her server in the pizza shop in the basement?
So that's another thing that's in the news right now. So one of our other competitors is called CrowdStrike.
Yes.
Yes.
And they are made
Trump was talking
in
about
the
them.
Ukraine.
Yes.
See, and I did not know that. I mean, they try to make themselves look like an American company. They're actually made in the
Wow.
Ukraine, and their servers in the Ukraine, and their developments in the Ukraine. So
Has
I
Joe, Quid Pro Joe, called you? Joe Biden?
don't know the guy.
Some guy named Hunter maybe get in touch with you recently?
I don't, there might be some kind of, secrecy among, like who hires you type of thing. What do they call
What
it?
about a guy named Pierre Delecto?
That's-
Carlos
that's-
Danger.
That's Mitt Romney's name. He had a pseudonym on Twitter.
I'm just wondering if these people are contacting you.
Rob may not even.
No, thank you.
Rob may advertise on Fox News, but maybe he doesn't watch it.
No, you know what? He's busy protecting us.
Yes. And we thank you for all that you're doing.
You're welcome.
And we think it's so cool you live here because now we're going to call you all the time.
All the time.
I'll be back here. I really am curious about the security
We need you.
at this radio station.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
All we have is a locked door.
You have business
During certain
and
hours.
personal type.
Yes.
Okay. See, that's what I need
All
to know.
right, we need to clean up our act.
Before you leave, give me like a coupon code or something so I can get it from my home. Okay. I'm asking. Yeah. I'm asking for my wife because she'll ask me. Well, did you
Wait.
ask him for a coupon?
Rob, will you come back despite Nick Summers?
I'll be back.
Okay. Oh, I'll be back.
I'll be
that
back.
sounded very Arnold Schwarzenegger right there.
You just insulted me in front of our
I'm always
guest.
kidding. You know I'm kidding. Rob Cheng from PCmatic. Go to PCmatic.com to learn all about him, job openings, products that he's offering. It's amazing. American-made company. We're so proud that you're from South Carolina, right in the backyard here.
Thank you.
So cool to have you here, and we'll have you back for sure.